Welcome to the Women Healing Podcast, a place to discover the power of who you are, what you want, and have the most fun having it all on your terms without doing it all, so you feel wildly successful in every area of your life. My name is Michelle Kenan. I'm a somatic therapist, neurolinguistic programming practitioner, and wild feminine embodiment coach, and it's time to set yourself free so that the world and your man always give you what you want, or even better than you can possibly imagine. Here's how. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women Healing Podcast, your dose of real talk as to why you are the way you are and what you might be doing unconsciously that's blocking you from having the things you want. And also the easiest, most fun, most pleasurable, most exciting ways that you can take radical self-responsibility and embody the energy of the woman that you want to be, that has the things that you want to have, that is experiencing the life, the relationship, the career, and everything that you want for yourself in the way that feels the best for you. My name is Michelle Kenan. I am a somatic therapist. I am an embodiment coach. I am an NLP practitioner, and I teach my clients something incredible called wild feminine embodiment. And it's all about giving ourselves permission and pleasure with absolutely no pressure or stress. And today we're going to be talking about something that I see super prevalent in communities of women all across the world, regardless of location, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of education. And I know this both from my own life, but also from working with thousands of women over the past 12 years in private practice and in group works, and also in online groups and mentorship. And it's all about the ways that women connect to each other through pain and accidentally keep themselves stuck when there is a whole other world out there of making what you want real by prioritizing how good you feel. Oof, my first rhyme of the podcast. Don't hold me to that high standard. Might do it again, but we're going to take a journey together, because what I see, what most of us see every time we open social media, is either everybody bragging about how perfect everything is in their lives, and these beautiful moments of photoshopped bliss and smiles, and it's so hard to see that sometimes, right? Because we all know that it's only half the truth, that as women, as human beings, we are something I teach my clients. We are all of that, right? Everything's amazing and everything's shit sometimes. And we can be really excited and we can also be really terrified. We're the whole span of human emotion and experience. And that's why we get so bothered when we see those posts on social media. That can't be true. It is true, but it's only a part. But then I see the other side of the pendulum, which is posts online of women sharing their pain, but sharing their pain to get validation and to get connection and to feel that they're not alone, that they're not the only ones suffering. And while this is important, right? While we need to know that we can trust others and rely on others. Okay, so here's an example. Open an app, you've opened social media, and you see a video of a woman that is complaining about her husband. She's making a joke, right? She's going around the house and she's picking up after him. His socks are on the counter, or he hasn't put down the toilet seat, or he hasn't taken out the garbage. And so she's made a piece of content where she's sort of poking fun at the way that he has disappointed her yet again, the way that she has to pick up the pieces yet again, where she's responsible for the unseen labor in the house yet again. And then you go into the comment section and it's filled with women saying, oh, me too. Yes, my husband does this. Why are men like this? life is so hard for women. We're always, picking up the pieces and doing the emotional labor and holding everything together. And the comment section becomes this place of validation, this place where women go to validate their pain and to, in a way, make themselves feel better for this shitty situation, the unpleasant things that they quote unquote have to do. And that they're like, well, look, every other woman is going through this here too. It's just normal. It's just the way it is. We just have to grin and bear it. We have to put up with it. One day it'll be different. And the cycle continues, right? And this is a huge mistake, right? What women are doing over and over again is turning to others that are feeling stuck, that are feeling like they're not getting their needs met, that are disappointed in their marriages, even if it's not huge disappointments, right? Because it's normalized. They're going to these places where their pain and their frustration and their disappointment and their resentment is normalized. And they use humor and connection in order to send themselves a message that it's okay. Everyone else is going through it. I'm just going to put up with it too. And I want to call this out. I want to raise the red flag here because this is such a huge mistake and such a huge epidemic for so many women out there. We have learned to connect to each other through our pain, which is on the one hand, okay, because, we're human beings having a human experience and we all go through shit. But the reason why this is a problem is that we normalize it and we use it as proof that we should continue to push through and accept it when you don't have to do that, when it doesn't have to be that way. And when you get to have the relationship or the life that you really want to have without putting up with things that you don't want to put up with, that don't feel good for you. And so why are so many women doing this, right? Well, where did you learn it from? I bet you learned it from your mama. I bet you learned it from other women that came before you, generations that came before you, that did have to struggle, that did have to put up with a lot of bullshit, that did have to go through this grin and bear it era, the women that broke so many of the glass ceilings for us, that went through so many struggles before us. We watched the women who shaped us blueprint out this life experience, and unconsciously, most women are reliving that experience over and over and over again and passing it down to their children and future generations. And so if you've ever heard of the concept of generational trauma, this is it in action. We have a generation of women that don't have to put up with any of this anymore. And yet they're doing it. And they're trying to use a spoonful of sugar, some social media humor, in order to move through it. And I want to call bullshit on this right now, okay? Because yeah, it might feel good for you to connect with other women that are going through your struggle, but you have to ask yourself, are you trying to feel better as you struggle? Or are you trying to have a marriage or a life that actually feels really, really good and is exactly what you want it to be? And if when I ask this question, your brain goes, but that's not fucking possible, Michelle. But I was taught you have to compromise, Michelle. But I was taught you have to do things that you don't want to do in order to keep things going, Michelle. Let me tell you, welcome to some of your limiting beliefs. And I'm so glad that you're here because this podcast and the work that I do with women is all about dispelling those unconscious beliefs that we have that are leading you to take actions or accept things in your life that perpetuate more things that you don't want, right? Because there's no reason that you need to do those things. There's absolutely no reason. You don't have to compromise and do things that don't feel good unless what you want is to keep things going exactly as they are, right? So you have to ask yourself, are you the type of person that wants to feel more comfortable in her pain? And if you are, no problem. There's lots of communities out there for you. There's lots of women out there that are living that are perpetuating that are going about their business in this way. However, if you are a woman that wants to be conscious, if you want to be in a relationship that is fulfilling your every need, if you want to have a partner that is meeting you at another level, right? And that is the level of your self-worth, of the woman that you want to be, of the way that you want to live in this world, the way that you want to feel, well, first of all, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here, because that's the way that I live. And that's the way that my clients live and all the women in my community. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I am so ready to have it all and feel really good every day without compromising ever, then go to www.haveitallqueen.com to dive in and get started. Okay, back to the show. And what we're doing that's different, right, is we're not turning to those places that are normalizing pain and normalizing sacrifice and normalizing struggle. We are turning to each other and we're creating this new way of being for women where we feel, right, where we connect to this intuition that we have inside of us, where we connect to our wild feminine wisdom. And if that sounds like a lofty concept, what it really is the connection to, does this feel good? And if so, yes, please. Or does this not feel good? And if so, I don't want that. Let's do it different. And making choices and taking actions and having conversations and setting boundaries from that place of loving ourselves, that place of honoring what we want and what feels good for ourselves, and teaching others how to treat us and how to respect us from how deeply we love ourselves, and not because we have to fight anyone or dominate anyone or nag anyone or take responsibility and relive these unwritten agreements that we've made with past generations of women in our family. We're deciding to do it different. So I want you to take a look around, right? You're probably doing this already. And when I ask you to do this, I'm not calling you out. Something that I'm so intentional about is what I call calling you in, right? I'm never going to use shame or criticism or make you feel bad for some of the mistakes that you're making, right? Because if I did that, it wouldn't feel good. And either it would awaken the inner kinky part of you that's like, oh, I like not feeling good in that way. I was criticized my whole life by my parents. Oh, I know this, right? But we're here to break patterns. And what I do with women, why I'm here, why this is called women healing, is I want to teach you how to break free from those patterns that don't actually feel good and don't really give you what you want or get you closer to what you want, so that you can use pleasure. And I'm not just talking about sex, y'all. Okay. I'm talking just about you feeling good, and use pleasure and excitement and inspiration and desire and your life force energy to move towards your goals, to get you more of what you want in this world, whether it's in your job, in your marriage, as a mama, how you make money, how you just float and operate in your everyday life, instead of what most women do, which is use anxiety and stress and criticism and pressure and burnout and be in hustle mode all the time. We are deconditioning from that. We are tapping into a different kind of energy here. And so if you want that, right, if you want to feel better in your life, if you want as a baseline that you're getting all of your needs met, and yes, I'm saying all of your needs met, there's zero reason why you shouldn't be having that in your relationship. Because if you listen to some future episodes and you tap in more to my work, you're going to understand and learn from me about how to activate your man's hero energy and why the masculine in your life is really excited to give you what you want and need, and how you can be part of what I call an upward cycle of co-creation, not only with your man, but with the energy of the universe, with all the people around you, even with your kids, right? With everything, but it's how you show up. So if you're realizing that you're turning to other people in your life and it's about gossip, it's about complaining. Maybe you have a chat group with some girlfriends and y'all are just like dumping on your husbands, or it's like your place to complain. I want you to pay attention to what is going on for you energetically when you do that. And if through doing that, it's actually making the change, you're actually getting the results that you want in your relationship, or if it's just leading to you reinforcing the things that you don't like, and it all staying the same, and you staying connected to this group of friends that's also going through that pain. And what that's called is trauma bonding. Okay. Trauma bonding is when we use our trauma. It could be big T trauma, or it could just be little T trauma, which is all the shitty things that happen to us every day as humans that hurt our feelings and that trigger us and that make us feel less than, right? We all go through that every day, no matter where you live or how much money you have. Every one of us goes through it, right? And so many of us have been taught to stay stuck, to keep our attention and our energy on that pain, on that trauma. And now look, I am not talking about spiritual bypassing here. I'm not here to tell you that you should only be positive and only be happy. That's total fucking bullshit. That's so much pressure. It's totally impossible. And we want to use all of our emotions, right? Something I teach my clients is how to use all of your emotions, tap into the power of your full emotional spectrum to get you into flow towards what you want. And so if you're stuck on the pain, if you're constantly tapped into what isn't working, what isn't happening in your relationship, how your man isn't showing up, how your mom is not giving you the respect or the space that you want, how your kids aren't acting the way that you want them to, how your house is messy, right? You're always just tapped into what isn't working. And then you're communicating and expressing that with others. Guess what? That is going to be the energy that you continue to perpetuate. That's why you're going to see more of that going on, right? But if and when you can learn about tapping into communities or mentors and teachers or women in your life that seem to have more of what you want, right? And I call these people expanders, right? This is something that's so important in my work, is that you find women, you're connected to women that have the things that you want, and you let them be examples of what's possible for you. Even if you don't know how to make it happen for yourself, you get real world examples of other women doing it, like me. That's why you're here, right? And you're going to hear my stories, and you're going to hear stories about my clients and how we made this all possible, because real talk, I, for most of my life, was disappointed and didn't get my needs met, and was just really focused on what wasn't working and just feeling in that struggle day in and day out, right? When you can tap into women that have made those shifts and that live in an example where, you know what, when you want something, not only do you get it, but you don't have to fight for it. You don't have to push for it. You don't have to nag for it. You don't have to work harder. You don't have to put in more time, more energy, right? I call this the push energy, the hustle energy. So many women are trapped and stuck in this because that's what was modeled for us. And that's what we think is the only way to get things to work. But y'all, if that was working, you would have what you want. And instead, you're just figuring out strategies for compromising and being okay, and I'm doing okay in quotes, with those things that actually you don't really like. And I'm here for you. I'm taking a stand for you and every woman to be fully satisfied, to be completely fulfilled, to have a partner that is one step ahead of you, that you're in a relationship where whatever you want, it's happening, and it's not at anyone's expense. That the more you get your needs met, the more it becomes an opportunity for the people that love you to step up in different ways and become the people that they want to be, right? This is the upward cycle of co-creation that I love to put into place with my clients. And so what I would do is, if you're plugged into these communities online or in your friend groups, I would start to look for expanders, right? I'm so glad that you're here. I'm going to blow your mind this season and for the future. And I'm so glad you're here, because when you start to bring in people and energy and teachings and examples into your world of what's possible, and you start to direct your attention towards what you want, instead of learning how to get comfortable putting up with what you don't, right? You wouldn't ask your broke best friend how to get rich, right? So why are you trauma bonding with your girlfriends that are in shitty marriages about what isn't working and expecting it to be any different for you, right? Where's the logic in that? So next step is open Instagram, find me at Michelle Kanan, that's my name, and shoot me a message and tell me something that isn't working in your relationship, in your life, in your career, as a mom, with your mom, whatever. Tell me something that isn't working and ask me, hey, how can I make this different? What's the easiest way to make this different? What's the way that would feel awesome and fun to make this different? And I'll tell you exactly how to do it, because I don't want to gatekeep any of this information. I don't want to sit here and be like, everything is awesome for me, sucks for you, right? Like, what's the fun of that? I want
every woman to experience you having someone like me that you can just be like, hey, how do I make this different? And you get the answer and you get to implement it, and you don't have to blow up your life. You don't have to blow up your relationship. You don't have to blow up anything except for how freaking good you feel. You can blow up the internet with your brags after you're done getting your answer from me. All right. So shoot me a DM and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the pod. If you're ready to have it all while feeling absolutely amazing every day, because of course it gets to be this good for you and every woman on the planet, then go to www.haveitallqueen.com for a free gift from me and some juicy next steps. And if you're feeling this mission, that every woman is truly fulfilled and gets to live, play, work, love, and enjoy her family and life in a way that's healthy, expansive, exciting, and fun, it really helps if you write a review and share this pod with your friends, because our goal is to reach over 1 million women and change what they think is possible for their lives. So write a review or share with your friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.